Hey everybody, it is Mark from Dine.digital. Welcome to this edition of The Dish. This is where we talk to amazing people and amazing restaurants, let them get their story out there. When we're not chatting with restaurateurs, we are working with them in one form or fashion with their marketing, and we're glad to do that. But we're really happy today to have our new friend, Jim Lederer, joining us, and he is from Highland Park, Illinois, and Bluegrass. How are you doing, Jim?
Outstanding. Morning.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
you doing today?
I'm doing real good. I'm glad to have you on with us today, and we're going to learn a little about Bluegrass and what you guys are all about. And so let's start right there. What are you guys about?
Well, just a simple all-American restaurant. America's a melting pot. I spent a lot of time down south. Actually grew up in Highland Park, but had an opportunity to open up a Cajun restaurant. So spent about 5 years traveling down to Metairie, Lafayette, Bow Bridge, Opelousas, a little fishing down in Grand Isle, and worked for a guy in Chicago, guy Don Roth, for a number of years, and learned the steaks and seafood business. So kind of melded the two and kind of got my own thing together here about 16 years ago, and so far it's been pretty fun.
Awesome, awesome. So you got a little bit into it, but tell us a little bit more how you yourself got into the restaurant industry.
Well, it started many, many moons ago, back in the high school days. We had a big backyard, and when I was about 15 years old, started throwing parties in the backyard. Had my first, 4-barrel party when I was 15, and I was too young to actually drive a car. But I had friends that could drive, and drinking age, of course, was a little bit older than that. But I had friends that would, acquire that, and we just have peaceful little gatherings in the backyard, and started out, a couple hundred people, and we just kind of had fun. Then we added the entertainment, we added food, and throughout my high school career, we just kind of had some fun. And as I used to wrestle, the wrestling team would be the security team. We had a guy, Steve Honingberg, who has been with the Washington Symphony Orchestra for about 35 years. He was in charge of the music. Had this guy, Michael Cornick, who's had a number of restaurants. He was tied into the food. And I had a couple guys collecting money. Girls were always free. So we just kind of hang out, had a good time, and we'd make some money for the weekend. So that was the beginning of the entertaining phase of my life.
Oh, very nice. Sounds like a good time. For Bluegrass, what can customers come to expect when they visit you guys?
Well, back in the old days, we used to have people come and dine inside a restaurant. My background is more fine dining than casual, but I worked for a guy, Jim Lovell, back in 2001 when that 9/11 thing kind of hit, and the fine dining kind of took a hit. And the people don't want to get dressed up. They don't want to be fancy, but they just want to go out and have good food and good service. So as I saw the world change in those days, decided to get my own place going. Good, simple food, great service, and good value. And that was pretty much how we started. And everything has to evolve. I mean, even in the last, 8 months, you either evolve or you die.
Mm-hmm.
In the 16 years that we've been here, every year is different. And everything, once again, the trends start to change, and never wanted to have a trendy restaurant. So it's really based upon good value, good food, and great service. And that's pretty much what has kept us in the game today.
I hear you. No, that sounds like a good combination for sure. Dive a little bit more into the uniqueness of who Bluegrass is. What makes you stand out from the guy down the street?
Well, we take our food, our jobs, and business very seriously. We always do a lot of research. I mean, as I spend a lot of time down south, our southern dishes, our jambalaya, etouffee, gumbo, take these down south and they'll knock some socks off people. We got some great recipes. About 2 years in, we started doing some barbecue. We were dining around town, and there was nobody actually smoking meats. This is back in 2004. So we decided to get a smoker, and we started smoking meats. We got the ribs, and we've got the pulled pork and the brisket. But we did research and spent some time trying to figure out the best way of doing it. So all of our food kind of what I call pops. When it hits the palate, something goes, wow, that's kind of cool. That's something different. And the guys down the street, Most other restaurants don't have the passion in their kitchen that we have. And I've got two guys that opened me up over 16 years ago that worked for me, in a previous life as well. But we all take our lives and our food and our daily routines very seriously. We really enjoy what we do, and so far it's been working out well.
Well, that's great. So when someone comes in and they're looking at the menu, what's the thing that you're going to recommend that they try before anything else?
So that's kind of the cool part. As we've got such a myriad, our menu is very eclectic. You can kind of go down the southern route, which we do a big Mardi Gras. And our jambalaya is probably one of the best dishes. And I can hold that up to almost anybody in the area, even down south. Our gumbo the same way. They're just great dishes, great starters. But our seafood, once again, the only secret is fresh. And lightly seasoned. You don't need to overpower anything. So we really watch what we do and how we do it, so that we always try to create something for everyone. And our menu is pretty diverse. We're kid friendly. So even our, chicken tenders are real chicken. It's none of that frozen stuff that, a lot of people just kind of pull out of the freezer, throw in the fryer and serve to the kids. Yeah, we take kids seriously too.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I don't know if you had a chance to, but we like to have people show off their food if they have some. Did you happen to have any that we can see on screen today?
Just happen to have a little grouper with me.
Awesome.
So
Right.
this is our
a little higher. There you go. There it is.
our Louisiana blackened grouper. So as you can see, it's kind of blackened. We got a corn and crawfish risotto. We got a little bit of beurre blanc on the top there, just to kind of lighten it up a little bit. A little butter. Butter never hurts. A little extra love. And fresh grouper, out of the Gulf of Florida. And it's just good stuff. We've had a lot of fun. This is one of our best sellers. This was created back in 2008 for our Mardi Gras. And it kind of left and came back and left and came back. And it's now one of our rock stars. So if you're ever looking for good grouper, this will rival Florida's grouper. Anybody.
Oh,
So this is something that's really kind of special here.
For sure. Well, that looks great. I'm sure there's a lot of other wonderful things you can partake of as well. But thanks for sharing that with us today. All right. So Highland Park, obviously Chicagoland. There's a lot of people that come in and out of probably even during a pandemic. But what else can people do when they're near your restaurant, see and experience?
Well, Highland Park is kind of on the North Shore. We've got the Botanical Gardens about 3 miles away. And then we've also got Ravinia Festival. Ravinia Festival has been around for over 100 years. And last year was the first year that the Ravinia Festival actually didn't go off. They can get anywhere from 15 to 25,000 people in their little venue. It's just phenomenal music. They do everything from classical, jazz, rock, funk. So that brings a lot of people to town. And those two probably bring us the most guests. Botanic Gardens goes year round. They got their light fest going on right now. They got all the lights going on. But they do things throughout the year. And then, of course, we're 3 miles from the lakefront. So, we've got a little people coming off their boats and popping in town and checking out the area and what's going on.
Oh, yeah. There's, I'm sure, so many things you could do in town. You could probably fill a whole year with stuff to do.
Aside from, going down to the city, and there's that little city, Chicago, that they got a couple different things going on.
May have heard of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
For someone that's actually thinking about starting, what kind of wisdom would you impart? I've heard this over and over. Don't.
Yeah, right.
But if they really are intentional about doing it, what would you say to them?
Well, it's got to be a labor of love. And if you don't love it, well, then you really should just keep your money in a CD and take the 2% and leave it alone, or actually less today. But find something you love. If you're having fun with it, once again, I've had a great run. 16 years, it's been going very well. Even this little hiccup this year, we've actually had a pretty good year. Haven't lost, I think I've laid off 1 or 2 people, and that's about it. But we've been, rolling right through this, and you got to have fun with what you're doing. If you're waking up in the morning, you don't want to go to work, wrong place for it. But as my passion's always been hospitality and cooking, I love to cook at home all the time. You got to enjoy what you do, and you got to really embrace it. And as I still kind of play hockey, we kind of link up with breweries and do things with them to make it fun. And it's kind of cool in the last 10 years that the Hawks have actually brought 3 cups to town, which once again the hockey world going in through the beer world, through the restaurant, it's just been kind of surreal. We've just kind of hit and had fun and creates that synergy, because there's this thing about hockey and beer where there's a lot of similarities. What came first? And not sure which, but make sure you're having fun and build whatever your business plan is into your life where you can enjoy what you do. And you got to get out and have some good times and relax and make it fun.
I agree. Got to have fun. Speaking of maybe something that's not so fun, if you could change anything about the industry, what would that look like?
Well, today it's easy. It'd be nice to have people coming in the restaurants. I mean, if we had hot weather outside, but we've been very fortunate. I mean, everything's always changing and nothing stays the same. I mean, back when we opened up, all the portions were real big, and everybody wanted to take home food. And through 2001, rotating into 2008, all of a sudden the portion sizes changes. People wanted to eat out more frequently, and they didn't want to take food home. They wanted fresh food more frequently. So once again, everything is always changing. And the tough part is just reading the tea leaves, trying to figure out what's coming down the pike and, listening to others. But once again, I've had a good time. We've been very fortunate. And, once again, it's change or be changed. And don't be afraid to change. And if you're afraid to change, hey, no matter if you do one thing great, you got to be able to spin and ad lib, because this business is no different from any other business selling widgets, where you got to be able to pivot and go. And this last year has really proven you got to pivot and you got to go.
Well, all right. So what do you love most about what you do?
Well, I think the creation stage has always been the most fun. I mean, just when I left working for one organization, I wanted to get my own place going up. I kind of created this on a bicycle. I'd bike around, and I could visualize what I wanted to have, how it was going to roll out, and everything's. You have to keep recreating and rechanging and making it different and getting ahead of the curve. There is no shortcut, and that's something that's always intrigued me. It's a business. And you got to know where you are at all times. And if you don't know where you are, then you're in trouble. But the ability to plan, change, create has probably been the most exciting. Working for myself, of course, now I've been here for 16 years. I'm not sure if I can work for anybody else. I'm falling under unemployable if this thing doesn't work. But at the same time, if I have the ability to create and keep changing, that's been probably the most enjoyable part of it.
I love it. That's great. This year has really highlighted the need of community. Everybody has kind of rallied around each other as much as possible. So tell us a little bit how that looks like for Bluegrass.
Well, we're a community-based business. We're always giving back. We've always done things with the local first grade class that's about 4 blocks away. We invite them over once a year. And that probably turned into one of the best marketing ideas we've ever had, because the cool part is you get to meet all the young parents that are just moving to the area. So as the idea was, as my kids grew up and they came to this restaurant when they were younger, it was an Asian concept. I figured I'd get together with the principal, we'd talk and bring them in, and we did a little Cinco de Mayo, invite the kids over, they walk over here, and we give the kids a free dinner so they come back and bring their parents. And that in itself just turned out to be a great way to meet the neighborhood, because people were walking over here. And it started out with just giving back, and then turned into, okay, this actually did help what we're doing and grew our brand. But we still give back to the high school team. We have the Highland Park hockey team coming in here year after year. My 2 kids played hockey, so we do the pregame dinners here. We're still doing that. They left in 2009, so we've been doing that 11 years since they left. And then we attach ourselves to a couple different, October, we always do the breast cancer awareness. We do the AIDS awareness in May. So we're always kind of attaching ourselves to different non-for-profits. trying to help out. We're tied into the local chambers as well. So you got to give back somewhere at some point. It's not all about take. You got to give back. And that's something we've always done, and involve the community into our business so they embrace it, and that helps us, stay here for a little bit longer.
Yeah, definitely. All right, as we're kind of wrapping things up for today, I want to get a pro cooking tip that the viewers can take home with them and make better food. What's that going to be for us?
Well, my favorite tool is probably the iron skillet. And if there's one thing you could do, learn how to cook on an iron skillet. I mean, iron skillets are so versatile. You can put them on a barbecue to cook fish. You got to let it warm up. You got to season the grill, or season the pan. Once you got a seasoned pan, nothing sticks to it. It's better than Teflon. If you're cooking rolls in the oven before dinner, you put it on the table, everything stays hot. And the iron skillet is probably one of the coolest devices ever created. It was created, thousands of years ago. And actually, when I started camping back when I was, a young teenager, iron skillet was the only thing. You go backpacking, but you're going to carry the skillet around. That's how you cook. And it's, you can't break it, you can't drop it. That's probably the coolest device you could have in a kitchen and learn how to embrace. And every now and then you got to burn something. That's just part of the fun of the learning experience.
I like it. Awesome. Well, I want to bring people's attention to the bottom of the screen as it scrolls by. BluegrassHP.com is where you can find their online presence. And I believe you have a Facebook page as well. I believe you can get to there through that. Any other social media that people might be aware of for you guys?
That's pretty much it. We got a little Facebook, page. And
Yeah. Very good. So please check out the bluegrasshp.com. And while you're online, you can also give us a follow at dine.digital. That's Instagram. That's also our website, so dine.digital. But obviously, we've had several of these lovely conversations throughout the year, and we'll be having more. But as we kind of finish things up today, is there any final thing you'd like to share with your audience, Jim?
Yeah, just come on and join us when you're in town. If you get the opportunity to come to the Northern Burbs, or if you're in the Northern Burbs, we've got a lot of different things going on. Actually, we're all carry out right now, but that too will change. And love to have you come join us, or send us an email, hop onto Facebook, send us a message. We respond pretty quickly as well.
Awesome. Well, Jim, I really appreciate you joining us today. Thanks to everyone that's watching this. Please support your local restaurants like Bluegrass. And when you go into Highland Park, check them out for sure. All right, everyone have a wonderful day, and we'll check you on the next episode of The Dish.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark.